Ooh, what trade taught me the most? Probably my biggest loss. My biggest loss is the trade that taught me the most. So here's a story. Early in my trading career, when I was working at the fund, I was a total cowboy. I had very poor risk management. I was very arrogant. I was overly confident, and I was naive. And I had a lot of success very early in my career. Like I said, 2008, I received the Trader of the Year award. I was the youngest person at the firm to receive that award. And I climbed the ranks quickly to a point where there was actually a lot of people that worked at the fund. There were some people that worked underneath me who I managed their risk. And I allocated, I gave specific direction to as far as, allocation of capital, like in what sectors we want to be operating and what sectors we want to be trading in for that period of time that had 5 to 7 years more experience than I did. It's actually a lot of animosity that actually went on between me and a couple of guys at the firm because one person in particular thought that they should have had my position and they were pissed off that I was selected, for that spot over them because they had been there for like 5 or 6 years longer than I had. But anyway, I was very undisciplined in my trading. And if a lot of my members today in True Trading Group, you guys know me, some of my strongest traits as a trader is my patience. It's my discipline. By far, I think those are some of the strongest characteristics that I have as a trader that have helped me become the trader that I am now today. But if we went back to my early years, none of you would recognize me as a trader. Like all my members, you see the trades that I make now. You see how I manage my positions, how I manage my risk, how I take my profits. And you see how methodical and how robotic I am in all of my trading and the patience and discipline that I display. I was not always like that. You wouldn't even recognize me. Like if I showed you some of my trades from my first few years, you'd be like, no way, that's a trade that Mike made. No way Mike did that. You wouldn't recognize me. I have a thing now where like I don't like trading earnings because it's a total coin flip. People will always say to me, well, Mike, what do you think about Amazon going into earnings? Mike, what do you think about Tesla going into earnings? Mike, I have no idea. Nobody does. Nobody has any idea what a company's going to do when it comes to earnings. It is a total coin flip. Analysts will have an expectation. Analysts will say, we expect $350 million in revenue. We expect $1.24 EPS. We expect, 410 million guidance for next quarter. And those are all just analysts giving their projections and their guesses. But then what happens when the company announces their earnings? They either beat those expectations or they miss those expectations and the stock goes up or down. Nobody really knows what a company is going to announce. It's a total coin flip. And then you can have situations where a company could announce really good earnings, but then they give poor guidance and the stock still goes down, right? Or you can have situations where the company reports good earnings and the stock still goes down, aka NVIDIA. Just the other day, good earnings, stock went down anyway. Let me get to my point, okay, because I'm getting sidetracked when it comes to earnings. I went after an earnings play, and I got very aggressive, and I got very short a particular stock many years ago. And I was outside of my risk threshold on the trade, and I was trying to be a cowboy. I thought I knew better than the markets, and turns out this company blew earnings out of the water. Blew earnings out of the water. The stock gapped up like $90 a share on me, and I got crushed. Okay, still to this day, my biggest loss, and I'll never put myself in a position like that ever again. And that's where I decided after that day that I'm not going to trade earnings again, or at least not like that. Like I'm not going into earnings like that, heavy positioned one way or the other. It's a total coin flip. It's a guess. It's foolish because my advantage, the advantage that I have over other market participants, over other traders, other people that are buying and selling stocks, I have an advantage over most people because A, I am a professional, but B, I have the ability to identify high probability patterns and setups, right? That's my advantage. My advantage is to say, based on this setup, there's a more likelihood that this stock moves up than this setup, and these are the reasons why. That's my advantage. By me just picking a side of an earnings play, I am removing the advantage that I have because now I am not able to identify a higher probability of the stock going up or down on earnings because it's literally a coin flip. This setup means nothing. It's all about the earnings print. It doesn't matter what the chart looks like. It's all about what the earnings are going to be. Why would I ever put myself in a position where I have no control at all. I have no advantage. That's foolish. Let me put myself in situations where I do have an advantage over other traders. This is a war, ladies and gentlemen. When you are getting involved in the markets, when you open up your Robinhood account and you go ahead and you buy a stock or you buy an option, guess what? There is somebody on the other side of that trade that is selling it to you. You're going to war with that person. Do you trust your own education and skill to go up against myself? What about the trader from Goldman Sachs? What about the trader at the $2 billion hedge fund? What about the other day trader with 20 years of experience? What about one of my TTG certified members? Do you trust your own education and skill to beat that person? That's how you have to start looking at it. And I'm not going to go to battle with someone where we have a 50-50 shot. I'd rather go to battle with someone knowing I have a 75% chance of winning. And that is what trading really is all about. It's about identifying high probability patterns and setups and put yourself on the right side of that probability over and over again. There's no setup, there's no indicator that works 100% of the time. It doesn't exist. There is no secret, okay? Stop looking for it. I worked at a hedge fund. I was trained for 3 months before they let me touch a dollar of their money. Believe me, if there was a secret formula or a secret indicator, I would know about it. The only secret is that I didn't touch a dollar of their money until I went through their 3-month educational training program. So the secret then, the secret of Wall Street is an education. That's it. That's the secret. Trading is not impossible. Trading is not a scam. Trading is not only for the rich people. Trading is not, something only gift-minded people can achieve. It's just a skill. It is just a skill that needs to be learned like any other skill that exists out there. You want to learn how to bake a cake? Great. I don't know how to bake a cake, but if somebody showed me, I can probably bake a cake. A lot of you may not know how to trade, but if somebody showed you, you probably will be able to trade. Now, I'm not saying trading is super easy. I'm not saying that it's easy, okay? But it's not impossible. You just have to make sure that you get yourselves an actual education and stop flipping a coin. Flipping a coin, sucker's game. Stop flipping a coin. Start being able to identify high probability patterns that give you an advantage over other traders.